Hello chaps! Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, hi chaps. It's easily the hardest part about starting a video for me personally, is the little introduction. As soon as I get talking I tend to be able to talk crap, and most of the time I actually have to edit most of it out just to keep the videos a bit shorter. But I look back on some of the old videos and I say stuff that I don't normally say. I mean, say hi chaps and hi guys, and how many times do you think I call people guys and chaps in real life? I'll give you a clue. None. So, hello chaps, welcome back to another video. I don't think I introduced myself that well either, do I? I don't think anyone knows who I am. Welcome back, my name's Nick, and today we're going to be doing some work on our little Lupo Track Car. The main decimal Spence, we took it to a track day Croft. We went to a track day and we had some problems with the car because it started overheating. Just doing what all good pit crew mechanics do there.
Fixing what you broke?
Luckily it wasn't actually on the track day itself, it was driving to the track. To get to Croft from where we live in Newcastle, we have to drive through like the bottom end of Darlington, and the car started overheating when we were stopping in traffic because it was like, you know, like busy morning traffic. And but as soon as we moved off, the car temperature came back down again, which was fine. So 10 Brucey bonus points if you can figure out what the problem was. That's right, the cooling fan is absolutely shot, it's knackered. And the cooling fan that I've got on this car is a 14-inch slimline fan, and it's on a Lupo radiator. So it does the job, to be honest. It works really well. Well, it used to work really well. It doesn't work now. But yeah, so the job today is I'm going to get the car into the garage. We'll have to get it up, and I'm going to probably have to take the front end off. And I'm definitely going to have to take the inlet manifold off, I think, to get access to the fan, because it's rather tight down there. And you'll not get my big mitts down there, no doubt about that. So whilst the car's in bits, I thought it would be a good idea as well to do a bit of an upgrade on the fan wiring, and also the I'm going to add a fan override switch on the inside of the car, because currently there isn't one, so I'm just relying on the fan switch. But when it comes to mapping the car and then future use as well when we're on track, it'll be a really cool little thing to have is a switch inside the car, which means I can turn the fans on and off when I want to. So at the minute I'm using the original Lupo wiring, and I mean I'm going to show you now on the board, but this isn't like condescending, I'm not trying to be clever, but honestly half the time when you talk about wiring with people, you know, they tend to go a little bit, so you know, picture paints 1,000 words and all that. So at the minute I have my battery, and then I also have the fuse box, which is on the inside of the chassis leg in the engine bay. Now I have the battery mounted in the back, but normally that box would be on top of the battery, but that's still in the engine bay, and that has a fused output that goes straight to the fan switch. And the fan switch, when it gets to temperature, it closes the contacts and then turns the fan on, and then obviously it's grounded from the battery 0 volts negative terminal anyway. And that's great, but you're relying on that fan switch, and that fan switch, you can get quite a bit of voltage drop down there, and you know, they might be unreliable, all the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ditch this, and I'm also going to be ditching this fan, and I'm going to be fitting a new fan, but I'm also going to be fitting a second fan. This one's going to be a 12-inch one, and this one's going to be 8-inch. And the reason I've went for different sizes here is the 12-inch fits perfect, and the 8-inch, well, it's really tight over that side where the engine coolant hoses are and what have you. So I've just went for an 8-inch fan, which will fit perfect. And they're both 12 volt 80 watt motors, so they're the same motors, so there'll be no discrepancy between that. And the ground will be exactly the same, so that'll just go to there. Instead of putting the power through the fan switch, I'm going to put it through a relay and then that will go straight to the fans, and then obviously to them. And that just means that the power to them fans is actually controlled by a relay, not by the fan switch. And that's quite good, because that'll be a really good contact, and it'll mean that the full voltage from the battery, or the charge, 14.5 volts, goes straight to them fans. It doesn't go through any dodgy switch, anything like that. The relay is a really good option. And then from the relay, there'll be 2 triggers which activate the relay. The first one will come off the input for the relay, and it'll go to the fan switch. And then from the fan switch, it'll go to the coil. So that just means that to activate that relay, that fan switch has to close. Simple as that. And then on top of that, what I'll do is I'll parallel some connections. And this will be the fan override switch. I didn't plan that one out, did I? So that's the second trigger. So all that'll happen is that relay only energizes and powers the fans if the trigger from the fan switch or the fan override switch on the inside are activated. And obviously I've missed out the earths there, so there'll be an earth there as well to the coil. I know that looks crap. It really does look crap, doesn't it? I'll give up on my teaching degree then. Right, that's the theory. Sod that shit. Let's dive into the practical. And I haven't made it easy on myself either, because to take the bumper off, I need to take these 2 bolts off here, off the arch extension, and to get them out, I need to take the wheel off. I think I'm going to dismantle half this car just to fit a friggin' fan switch. So now the intercooler's off, I can see that all isn't well with the radiator. I've got corrosion at the bottom on both sides, and this side is the worst because right in there it looks a bit rotten and it's been leaking coolant here. It's obviously not completely broken, but I mean, a broken radiator is a broken radiator, isn't it? So it would just be silly for us to take all this off, put fresh fans on and not replace this radiator. Radiators are really, really cheap, so I'm going to have to replace this radiator, which means I'm going to have to drop the coolant. So when I'm doing any soldering on either of the benches, I tend to use my variable soldering iron because it's variable. There's an element of control to it, and you need that, like changing heats and changing the tips and all the rest of it. But when I'm doing stuff in the engine bay or in the car, I use this, and it's just like a little eBay jobby. I think it's less than a tenner, and it's actually really powerful. I really like using it, and the best part about it is that it's shaped like a gun off Thunderbirds. So all I've done there is just parallel the fan connections up, so I've put both fans together, so the 12 volts and the 0 volts have both fans, and I'll just hook a battery up and let's have a go, just to see what it's like. Woo! Sweet! Right, let's get the rest of the wiring done. Stop clowning around. So the wiring I'm going to use for the fan is this. It's 2.5mm cable, and it's I've just got black. I haven't got like brown or blue or red and black or whatever. So I've just marked the positive with a little flag so that when I put it in this, which is 6mm convoluted tube, and it's got a split down the centre like that, so I can easily get the wiring inside. And that means that all my wiring inside the engine bay will be, you know, once I get a hold of it, will be mechanically protected, which is a very good thing to do because you don't want any chafed wires. These little doohickeys here are the fan wiring plugs off my old Audi S3, and the reason I kept them was because I knew I was going to be doing this project, and it means that if I solder one plug onto the fan wiring and one plug onto the actual car wiring, the relay, I can then make the front end, the wiring side anyway, completely detachable. So if I need to take the slam panel, the radiator, everything like that off, all I've got to do is just unplug it. Because if I didn't have these plugs, I'd have to either chop them or I'd have to take the fans off the radiator, which is just, well, it's just a pain in the arse, isn't it? You just got to put a little bit of thought into it, hopefully. So yeah, this is a good little solution, I think, and it'll save us a headache in the future. And I'll probably have lots more headaches in the future anyway, but you know, one saved and all that. It's a right pain in the arse working on this car. Everything's just so tight. But there we go, it's the cable in. I think the next car I'm going to get is going to be something like a Ford Capri, something like that. You know, chuck a big V8 in it, and you can still get you and the family in the engine bay. It's that big. Something like that, anyway. It's going to be bigger than a Lupo. So I've got the cable out of a bulkhead just here in the passenger footwell. I've drilled them before. I've come along and I've got the cable here. I've also got this welding wire down here as a bit of a draw. So I'll tape this wire onto this, pull it up to here, mount the switch, and Bob's your uncle. Please don't come off, please don't come off, please don't come off, please don't come off, please don't come off. Right, all done. So we now have a dedicated fan relay down here, which takes its feed from the original fan output on the fuse box. There's a couple of triggers to activate it. One of them is this, which is the fan switch. The other one is in the car, and we'll test that in a second. We also have the power cable, which goes down here, and I've just cable tied my connector onto here. So now the fans are completely detachable from the car by just undoing that connector, and obviously the fan switch is detachable by just taking it off. So now I can remove all of this and not touch the wiring at all, and all my fan wiring is tied in nicely. Right, so now there should be two triggers that activate the fans in this car. The first one being the original fan switch, which we'll test now with my little fan switch jumper cable. Now I made this, God almighty, when I got my first Mark II Golf 19 years ago, something like that. Mental. Anyway, let's see if it works. And now just the button. Woohoo! Oh, I'm glad that one's over. It just seems that every time I need to do a tiny little job on this car, I end up rebuilding the car, like taking it to bits and replacing nearly everything. I had no intentions of replacing the radiator, which I've ended up having to do. I didn't have any intention of pulling off the intercooler, all the rest of it, and I've had to. But now I'm really happy that I did find that problem with the fan, and that I found the problem with the radiator as well, because, you know, that, let's face it probably would have let go on the next track day. You know, after 3 sighting laps, all of a sudden the car starts leaking, and that's the track day ruined. So I'm happy with that. Really good to get that one out of the way. So now I've got brand new radiator, brand new fans, brand new fan relay, all the wiring's new. I've now got a fan override switch so that I can control it properly now from inside the car. So that's I'm really happy about that. And if you have any questions about the wiring or all that, then just hit us back with a comment. Obviously, you see in the diagram that I did in the at the start of the video, so hopefully that'll give you an idea on maybe how you could do it. So last but not least, obviously I dealt with the engine cooling on this video, and if you like that, then you know, you might want to hit subscribe and stick around for the next video, because on the next one we're doing more cooling work, because the next project is to fit this as a Mocha oil cooler, and I haven't even measured where it's going to fit on the front of the car yet. It might not even fit, who knows. Tune in next time for that headache. Catch you later.